Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced 2 more arrests tied to a January 18 protest that disrupted a church service in St. Paul. Prosecutors say 9 people now face federal civil rights conspiracy charges. House Republicans advanced rules to bring a shutdown-ending funding package to the floor on Tuesday. If it passes and Trump signs it, most agencies reopen while Homeland Security gets a short-term extension. In an interview on Dan Bongino's show, Trump urged Republicans to nationalize voting in at least 15 places. He offered no details, and election officials said states run elections under the Constitution. A federal judge in Washington blocked the Trump administration from ending temporary protected status for about 350,000 Haitians. The order keeps work permits and deportation protections in place while a lawsuit proceeds. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem ordered immigration officers in Minneapolis to start wearing body cameras immediately, DHS said. The pilot follows 2 deadly shootings and is expected to expand as more cameras are funded. The U.S. and India finalized a trade deal, and Trump said tariffs on Indian imports dropped from 25% to 18%. Indian officials welcomed the deal but said some terms are still being worked out. A judge is weighing limits on DHS officers' use of tear gas and other munitions outside Portland's ICE facility after weekend protests. Plaintiffs say children were hit, and the judge plans a ruling Tuesday. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. Iranian officials told Ayatollah Ali Khamenei a possible U.S. strike could reignite protests after January's crackdown. They warned renewed street unrest, combined with outside pressure, could threaten the regime's hold on power. Democrat Christian Menifee won a special election for a U.S. House seat in Texas, shrinking Republicans' already thin majority. He replaces the late Representative Sylvester Turner and will serve the rest of the term. Court records show DOJ walked back DHS claims that 2 Venezuelans shot by Border Patrol in Portland were Trendiaragua members. The driver stays jailed on assault charges, and no body camera video exists. President Trump announced Project Vault, a $12 billion critical minerals stockpile backed by Exim financing and private capital. The plan aims to secure supplies for U.S. manufacturers and provide an emergency buffer during disruptions. A Minnesota judge lifted an order that barred DHS from destroying evidence in the fatal shooting of nurse Alex Pretty during immigration protests. DHS pledged to preserve evidence as state and federal investigations continue. A federal judge again blocked Kristi Noem's policy requiring 7 days' notice before lawmakers visit ICE detention sites. The ruling says the requirement likely violates appropriations law and can't limit oversight. A federal judge allowed Ørsted to resume Sunrise Wind construction off New York, restarting the last offshore wind project halted in December. The Interior Department cited radar concerns, and litigation continues. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. In Portland, agents fired tear gas at a protest near an ICE facility, and witnesses said children were hit. A judge weighed limits on crowd control tactics after the weekend clash. The Justice Department said it pulled several thousand Epstein documents and media after some files may have exposed victim-identifying details. Officials said the material will be reviewed and re-redacted before being reposted. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem ordered body cameras for all DHS field officers in Minneapolis, effective immediately. She said the program will expand nationwide as funding allows after recent fatal encounters drew protests. U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff and Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi are expected to meet in Istanbul on Friday on a nuclear deal. The talks come as Trump warns of consequences if diplomacy fails. Trump announced Project Vault, a $12 billion plan to stockpile critical minerals used in EVs, defense and tech manufacturing. The program aims to provide an emergency buffer and reduce reliance on China's supply chain. Attorney General Pam Bondi said 2 people were arrested over a protest that disrupted services at a St. Paul church. Prosecutors say 9 defendants now face federal civil rights charges. Trump said the investigation of Fed Chair Jerome Powell should be taken to the end, even as he backs Kevin Warsh to lead the bank. The probe is complicating confirmation politics on Capitol Hill. A federal judge blocked the Trump administration from ending temporary protected status for roughly 350,000 Haitians in the U.S. The order keeps deportation protections and work permits in place while DHS appeals. House Republicans moved to clear a vote on the Senate-passed deal to end the partial shutdown. The package funds most agencies but punts longer-term DHS money as lawmakers argue over ICE oversight.